Oh, welcome back. It's G Funky Boxing. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. I'm being joined by a good friend of mine, Big Dog Lukey. What's up, Luke?
What's up, man?
Chilling, bro. Chilling, man. I'm just excited about this SHOBOX card that's coming to our area, Brooks, California, to be exact. Cash Creek Casino, SHOBOX, live on Showtime, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I can't wait, man. I'm excited for this thing. I always watch SHOBOX. I've seen guys come from those type of shows into Showtime Championship Boxing, and now I get a chance to be there live and in person. I'm excited, Luke. How about you, man?
Yeah, it's a tremendous card, and it's a great honor that a great promoter like Paco Damian is bringing a card like this. You got Samson, and then from the grave, Don Chargin involved in this.
Yes.
So it's beautiful. Shout out Andre, and it's going to be any come one, come all. It's going to be a fantastic nights of fights. You know, and it's whenever Paco puts on a show, it's very professional, it's well run, and he does a phenomenal job. I've been going to his shows for probably 10, 11 years, and they've never once let me down.
Yes, sir. And like you mentioned, uh Don Chargan, the legendary promoter in this area, cultivated a lot of regional stars. Uh, to be exact, Tony Lopez is one of them. He was one of the biggest fighters to come out of my city, Sacramento, California. He was promoted by Don Chargan, as well as one of my good friends that I've known since elementary school, Danny Savala, who I've had on my channel before, was promoted by Don Chargan. And yeah, everything they do, top of the line, man. You're absolutely right, Luke. So let's get into this thing, man. Again, this isn't going to be a prediction show, guys. So we're not going to be talking about styles, matchups, and things like that. We're just going to preview the card, let you guys know what's up, and to make sure you guys tune in. If you're not in the area, but if you are in the area, head over to the casino, man. Come check out some live fights. It's always fun to see fights in person. So let's get into this. Luke, let's start off with the kid who's making his pro debut on the card, man. You're gonna have to help me with the name.
I'll take over. So his name's Zachary Sam. He's been fighting for his whole life. When Gabriel Flores was coming up, 15, 16 years old, Gabriel was in the gym. Zach was in that same gym. At the time, it was Los Gallos Boxing Academy. Really, really strong guy, known for knocking people out in the gym. Good power in both hands, good use of distance. He's kind of been like a hidden gem. I don't think he's won a national tournament. Big puncher. I believe he's trained by his dad, Lincoln Sam. Good coach. Very aggressive style. To me, he reminds me of another fighter that I wish we had seen more of, Angel Cordone Jr. He doesn't
Hmm.
have the physical gifts and the dimensions of Angel Cordone Jr., but he very, very talented. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see it. He's got a guy in front of him who's fought very good fighters like Amado Vargas, and this is a great opportunity for him. This is a great opportunity for him. Big card, big stage, professionally lit, Showtime camera crew. Try to put out a good performance, and I think Marlon Diaz is working with him. So this is gonna be a thing. This is a big opportunity.
Absolutely, for all these fighters here, and that's why it's important for you guys to support these kind of shows, man. The Showtime, Showbox, the next generation or the new generation. These guys are fighting for that spot, and if they show out, you just never know what could happen. So these guys are going to come and they're going to fight hard, man, and that's why I'm telling you, these are the best dollars you could spend with going to see boxing live is these kind of cards, man, because these dudes give it their all. And the important thing about this card too is that when you look at these guys, all their records, they're all around the same. They're all evenly matched. So these are all going to be fantastic fights. So let's continue on with the regional bouts that are going to be on this card. Go ahead and take it away, Luke.
Okay. I was retweeting the show. I also want to say something. So let's not lie to the people, right? We shouldn't be liar, liar, pants on fire. What's up, Dave? The big issue is a lot of these guys don't have the huge promoters. They might have a Samson behind them, a Joe DeGuardia star boxing, but they don't have that opportunity to come up on a glorious path and be able to get these big opportunities. So they're in these real 50-50 opportunities, 50-50 fights to get an opportunity to be like a Roman Villa, to be a guy that can get an opportunity in the future. They're taking a hard fight to try to get a solid income and a chance at legacy down the road. The next notable fight on this fight is Kevin Montano. Very good amateur. I think he's had about 150 amateurs. I did a feature on him. I think the OnlyFans story comes out this week. I think on Thursday. Did a feature as well on him on the ITR channel. And he's a good pressure fighter, deep amateur experience. He had a tremendous fight at this venue in his last fight out. He fought a guy named Kevin. I forget his last name. Really, really good fight. And I looked on BoxRec, his opponent, Gerald Evans. I believe Gerald Evans has a red mark next to him, and it says he's suspended indefinitely by California. Let's hope that that's not ongoing, because I would
Oh yeah.
imagine that might jeopardize the fight. I'm going to assume the fight's still going on, but that's something maybe that if someone's an investigative journalist, I'm not very investigative. I'm more about hearing the fighters' stories and kind of getting stuff like that. That's something to follow. But Kevin's one of these guys who wins his fights in the gym. He makes weight. He's a true professional, and he's a big guy for his weight class. So, he's saying he's going to change some things up. He's originally
Yeah.
from CYC, trains with Gary Sullinger, and now he trains out in SAC with Flawless. Good fighter, and um, huge social media following, 80,000 Instagram followers. So I think there's big hopes that if he can maybe take a couple of these step up fights, that maybe he can be a fighter that's monetized.
Mm-hmm. He is indeed a hot prospect, and he's on this card fighting, like you said, Gerald Evans. Montano 4-0 with 2 KOs against Evans, who's 3-0. So again, evenly matched. One guy's got 4 fights, the other guy's got 3, both undefeated. And if you guys haven't seen the features that Lukey has done on his channel, right? Go over there and check them out. And also, you guys should be well aware of the interview that I did with Kevin a few weeks back. So, yes, he's a very good kid. The guy's got a degree from Sac State as well. So, smart kid, and like Lukey said, he's well prepared, trains hard. If you follow his Instagram page, you will see the kid is always in the gym training,
He's in
and also
tune
does a
with
little
this
comedy too.
generation, G. Like, he knows
Yeah.
how to, like it. Like, when I watch Instagram once a day, and you see all the stuff on Instagram is so boring to me. It doesn't speak to me. It's like these motivational quotes. Oh, and to me, that's the opposite of motivation to me. Hearing people, oh, if I'm gonna train harder, I'm gonna do this. Like, I just want to go out there and get it. I don't want any of that talking or the lip wrestling. I don't want people in my way. I just want people out the way and me doing it. But it seems like Kevin understands what a group of people that speak, because now what we're seeing is social media is its own language. So you
Mhm.
speak a social media language now. You get what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like Kevin is literate in speaking Instagram and all these platforms. So, not just that, but he's able to connect with more people that way.
Yeah. Yes, and I agree 100% on that. And yeah, you're right. Round one. These are all going to be good fights, man. All of them. And again, make sure you guys. I know you round one. I know you got your bell turned on, but turn the bell on because me and Lukey are going to be at the event, and I will be dropping some content from the event live. Hopefully, once everything's said and done. And then you guys can see the interviews that I get from these guys. So I'm excited, man. I can't wait to be there. This is my first time covering an event as a person, the member of the media on a nationally televised event. So I'm excited, man. So Luke, what's next on the bill, my man?
It's a really good fight. It's Manuel Tino Avila versus Albert Torres. They used to be sparring partners. Leading into the Jojo Diaz fight, the first night of sparring, no, it was the second day of sparring. The first day, Tino sparred Vic Pasillas 15 rounds. The second day, he sparred Albert Torres and got a cut over his eye. So this is, in many ways, Tino's career got derailed at the Jojo Diaz fight. He kind of did like a bull crap retirement that even he'll tell you wasn't real. And now we're looking at it. We're looking at him coming back and him trying to really make the most of this, make the most of what he has left. Albert's a guy that he sparred with years ago. He's known him for a long time. And, I think that both of these guys think they can win. This is a fight where they both know each other. Albert's got kind of an unsexy record, but he's a guy that really, if there was some money behind him, he could have been a 20-0 fighter at some point. He's a very good fighter. He just didn't really have the opportunities. The promotion up here, we don't have the Thompson boxings at the time. We didn't have the systems in place to get a guy that maybe he's not the decorated amateur, but he was definitely a solid pro in Torres. And I think Albert sees this as a very winnable fight and an opportunity for him to get another chance against like an Angelo Leo, a guy that he had fought
Mm.
prior. And Tino, this is like he's really trying to make another chase towards the top of the division. And what better way than fighting a guy who really thinks he can beat you coming in? And this is a real sneaky tough fight, because it it could go many different ways.
Yep. And that again, I want to harp on this, guys, because these guys again evenly matched. Manuel Avila, 24 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 8 KOs against Alberto Torres. I believe it's a little bit blurry here, but I believe it's 10-5 with 3 draws and 4 KOs. And like Luke said, he doesn't have the sexy record, but a tough opponent here for Avila. And again, these guys evenly matched, and it's going to make for a good fight, at least on paper, right? Because again, we know how boxing can be. One punch can change the fight, and it could end at any time. But we got to give these guys the respect and the credit for getting in with someone who's on their level, and 50-50 fights like this. These are great, man. Great stuff. So and again, you have some content on Avila too on your channel, right, Luke?
Yeah, I got some stuff, and there's more stuff if I ever feel like getting around to it. And I've been around I've been around both of these guys for a long time, covered their careers extensively, both Tino and um Albert. And I was gonna do a training video on both guys, but I couldn't ever get a hold of Albert, so I just gave up on even trying it. I reached out to him twice and couldn't get a hold of him, said why even bother? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not in the business of chasing grown men around. So, it's basically when you're doing this stuff, it's community service,
Yeah.
like every
They
now
should.
and then you have platforms that'll pay, but for the most part, doing media, you're basically treated like a second class citizen and you're happy to even get any type of thing. And you barely even get thank yous. And then the worst is the people that get thank yous and then think they're doing something. It's like, this is a game where you getting thank yous, like, you have to be very humble because you have to go on to the next one if you even wanna accomplish anything. You hear a thank you and you wanna do a victory lap, you better get a job as a janitor. This ain't cut up for you. You can make thousands of videos in this game and maybe 5 people will care. I say all that to say, you know, these are 2 really, really good fighters, and it's an evenly matched fight. And it's a fight where if Tino really, really wants to prove that he can make a run, look, Tino lost to 2 good guys, Joet Gonzalez and Joseph Diaz. Those are guys that have fought for world titles. In
Mhm.
the big scheme of things, that's not the worst situation in the world to have lost to 2 former world champion contenders. That being said, he's in his 30s now, and he's gotta really do something. He's gotta do something, bro. You gotta make a move because he's hitting that window where he really needs to make some money. He needs to fight for legacy. So he's got to win this one. And I think that if Tino were to win this one, which by no stretch of the imagination is this a gimme for him, in a perfect world, he'd have 2 to 3 fights, and then you just put him in with any rising prospect, or maybe even like a SHOBOX fight, a 50-50 fight with a guy with a good record, and see if he can win that and earn an opportunity. But I think this is what you call like a sleeper, because I think that both fighters are coming in with a mentality to win, and that's always a exciting matchup.
Recipe for a great fight, indeed. I agree, Luke. And again, guys, Showbox this Friday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on Showtime, guys. Make sure you check them out. So, Luke, what's next on the menu, my man? We're rolling quick here, but man, you're dropping some good stuff, bro.
I mean, I don't know a thing about Raul Garcia and Robert Terry. Um, I'll probably learn about them tomorrow. I know Robert Terry looks like a guy that's kind of fought in the Northeast area. It looks like he's like a New Jersey guy. Don't extensively know many of the opponents, but it looks like he's been built up on that circuit in the Northeast. It looks like maybe it says Showboat, so maybe that's the Cornflake Lamana cards on the East Coast. And on top of that, we got Raul Garcia, who's basically his whole career has happened in, what is this, the Dominican Republic? I'm trying to see what the flag is here. Yeah, it's the Dominican Republic. I was good at where in the world is Carmen San Diego. So he fought at the Dominican Republic. So you basically have a guy who's fought his whole career in New Jersey to and both of them have probably fought a couple of good guys, right? Because if you get to 12-0, typically, even if you're fighting guys with bad records, you fight a good guy or a couple of good guys in there. But this is going to be what you call a prove it fight. You tell everybody you're a good fighter, but there's really not a lot of opportunities for you because you're kind of a regional talent, but you're better than most. So you have to get in there with another undefeated fighter, and can you climb up the card? And that's what this fight to me screams on paper. But I've not broken down any film or anything. I'm curious to see who might be with these fighters, the money behind them, the trainers, the entourages, if anybody has official team t-shirts. These are all things I'm excited to see, and the physique of the fighters to see how in shape both guys are. But it on paper, it's interesting, right? Because you got two kind of unproven guys who've kind of been built up in a regional market.
hmm Yeah, and I like those kind of, again, because those are the guys that, I've made shows about this. We need more regional stars in boxing. We just need stars in general, but to build them up in the region, I think that there's nothing wrong with that, man. That's the old school way. It's worked for a lot of years, and yeah, when it comes down to it, like you said, these guys have fought a lot in their region, and now it's time to get him in tough, and that's when we find out um who's who. And great stuff there. Let's read some comments here. Shoeshine says Jermaine Ortiz shockingly good from that northeastern region. Never know who will emerge. Yeah, and again, that's why we gotta watch these kind of cards, man. These guys are all being put in tough, and it makes for great fights, man. So Lukey, what we got next, man? I know we're getting close to the three main cards, the three main fights on the card, but yeah, let us know, man, what's going on next.
Well, that's the TV opener I just talked
Is
about.
it okay? Okay.
That's the TV opener. And like when you look at that, Raul Garcia's got like an 83% KO ratio, but we don't know what the type of talent pool is in the Dominican Republic. Are they bringing guys in that have Everlast on their forehead? No disrespect to the opponents, but is he just fighting heavy bags? We don't know. I can't find footage. And then again, you got Terry, and Terry's got 3 knockouts, but we don't know how tough those guys are. So to me, this is a fight where you could look on paper and say, oh, one guy's this, one guy's that. We don't know because we don't really
Mm-hmm.
know that. I know Terry, I believe, fought Jimmy Williams, if I'm going off the top of my head. Jimmy Williams, solid pro. Jimmy Williams beat Yuri Foreman on his comeback. Jimmy Williams, I want to say, beat Curtis Stevens in his comeback. He's a guy that can beat you if you're not of a certain level. So I don't even know the temperament of the fighters, because boxing is a sport where, really, I was saying this to someone the other day, it's not about what's your record. It's about what's your record when you fight good fighters, right? Because you
Mm-hmm.
could say, oh, he's 50-0, he's 36-0. But if you have a physical advantage over everybody, it really comes down to, when you're fighting guys that are your equal and you got the butterflies and all of that, what's your real record? Oh, it's 2-1. It's one. I've started
Right.
making my own record on my computer. So and so fighters, he's 3-1 as a pro, because you throw out all those other ones, but
That's a great point.
I'm going on a rant, but what I'm saying is you can't discredit that the fight's getting to that point, but you have to respect the fact. Like, you have to respect the guy that doesn't lose to the people they're supposed to beat. But for me personally, when we're looking at greatness, you have to look at how many times you can repeat greatness over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. And you're right, shoe shine boxing about Ruben Villa beat El Venado on SHOBOX. So and then hey, congratulations to Ruben Villa. He just got himself a deal with Top Rank, and he will
Stockton,
be
May 13th.
yeah, he'll be there in Stockton May 13th. So that's another regional show that I'll be covering, and I know my man Luke will be there as well. But next fight we got here on the card, Neri Romero versus Frency Fortunato. Now, I remember Fortunato's last fight. He fought a guy named Bernard Torres, I believe. It's a weird, kind of a weird thing where he was a Filipino, but he was fighting out of Sweden. Um, but it was a very good competitive fight. Fortunato gets the win, and like I said, a really close fight. He did knock down Torres, I believe, in round 5, and highly competitive fight. But he's in again with the guy. I haven't seen Romero fight, but do you know anything about him, Luke?
Think you're looking at the wrong fight, bro. I think the
Am
co-main
I?
event here is J.E. Brown versus Guido. Um, how do you say his last name?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You're right.
Guido
Now I see it.
Scram, because Guido's the guy that before Jahai Tucker beat Nika, who's Xander Zayas' sparring partner. Guido was the guy that beat him on the Triller undercard when, God, who was on? I want to say Chris Algieri fought. Was it Mikel Lespierre? Probably Mikel
Mm-hmm.
Lespierre on Triller Fight Club. This guy Guido beat Nika, who's big puncher, all that. I want to say Jay Brown. I can't Jai Brown
Jahai Brown. Yeah, yeah.
said it perfectly. And I want to say something like a UPS driver. Like, he's got a blue collar job, and this is a big opportunity. I think the co-main event fell out, and they had to build this fight kind of last minute. It's a
Ah,
real
okay.
sneaky hitter of a fight, because you got a guy that beat a big puncher, has won on the B side in Guido, and then you got a guy in Brown, um, who's really kind of trying to change his life. Like, this is kind of reminds me of the Chris Algieri story. Now, when you look at Brown, the one thing to be worried about is some of the opponents he's fought 0-1, 10-41-2, 0-1, 1-5, pro debut, 4-2. 2 fights ago, he fought a guy that was 0-16. So, little concerning that if
Mm-hmm.
you're like, what is he now? He's
He's
a
13-9.
13
His
and
record.
9, 23-year-old fighter. I mean, that's all good. That's a tune-up, but for at 11-0 fighting an 0-16 guy, it's a little concerning, because that, to me, at least without knowing him, that tells me a little bit that there's a level of issue with confidence. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like, if I had a fighter, I'd be like, well, we'll take the win, but what do we really get at 11 fights in from an 0-16 fight? Don't you want a little bit? I feel like the problem is guys don't get built. They don't work with the styles. And then because of that, you know, they they get to these big moments and they kind of struggle. So I think it's commendable that he's taken this, because it feels like this is a very big step up for Brown, and a gradual step for Guido.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. I was looking at the Showtime. They haven't updated the card. I was looking at their page when I mentioned the Fortunato and Romero fight. But then I went to Paco's Facebook now, and then I see this fight right here. Yeah, you're right. Super welterweights, 10 rounds. And again, Lukey was talking about the records. Jahai, hopefully I'm saying that right. Brown, 13 wins, no losses, 9 KOs. And his opponent, Guido, 15 1-1 and 9 KOs. So again, as far as the record goes, they're pretty even. But again, Lukey mentioned it on the opponents of Brown. A lot of guys with upside down records. So this is kind of like his first real test, man. And again, he's on a major slot here, man, because he's the co-feature on this nationally televised card. So yeah, you're right. If he looks good and wins here, man, it could change his life uh for the near future for both of these guys. So they're gonna fight hard, man, and that's exactly what I like to see, man. These guys go in there, fight hard, and hopefully something happens, good for them in the future with a major network or something. So now we're going to the main event. uh this is the USBA Super Lightweight Championship is on
And
the line.
so what that basically just means is it's probably for a top 15 world ranking in the IBF.
Yeah, yeah. um That is what's on the line in the main event. Shinard Bunch, 20 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw with 16 KOs versus Bryan Flores, 23 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 13 KOs. Again, very evenly matched fights. And let us know what you know about these two gentlemen here, Luke.
I mean, they're saying Shinard Bunch is real good. I interviewed him for a Pro Box TV news story. Shinard seems like he's a very talented fighter, an interesting fighter, a guy that possibly could have superstar traits. That's what a lot of people are saying. In his third fight, he fought Paul Kroll, who was a 2016 Olympic nominee, and he feels he won that fight. How many fighters fight a guy who was supposed to go to the Olympics but didn't qualify? They take that in their third fight in 2019. Like, that's a
Mm-hmm.
different type. You talk about the competition. His last fight with Hank Lundy, I believe he was rocked, and he still won the fight. He's 23, 1-1. His one draw is to Janelson Figueroa Boca Chica of SHOBOX fame, where many people felt he outboxed him. This is someone who turned pro in 2019 and already has a slew of fights to his record. Bunch feels like a guy that kind of fits the mold of one of these fighters who's going to emerge from this series. He kind of feels that way. And he trains with Chino Rivas, who's had 2 world champions, Jason Sosa and Tevin Farmer. Bunch feels like a breakout guy. Bryan Flores, durable, tough guy. Bunch told me that he's been dropped 5 times. That's what his coach said in one fight. To me, this fight comes down to what Shinard Bunch has, because there's a lot of excitement around Shinard Bunch. This is the Shinard Bunch fight.
Mm. No, you're right, man. I've been hearing the same things about Bunch, and we'll see, man. I'm excited to see him in person, up close. It's one thing to watch these guys on TV and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, man, when you see him in person up close, man, it is crazy how good, fast, and the athleticism that these guys have. It is just a thing to watch, man, and I'm real excited to see it this Friday again, guys. SHOBOX 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, and hopefully I can get a word from the winner of this fight. I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be tough, man. Tough, competitive fights.
We'll try to figure out. I'll talk to some people and see if we can get something.
My man Luke got the connections. You know what I'm saying? I like it, man.
Well,
But
but I mean, it's like, look, bro, this kid's what, 23 years old. He's a young guy. He's a talented fighter. If he wins, he's flying from New Jersey to an Indian casino in California. The least that can happen is he gets an interview for like 1 or 2 minutes where you ask him all the same things people will ask him. It's the bare minimum. I mean, I feel like the kid it's a big honor what's happening to him, and I think that it's very realistic, and I think it could really mean a lot to Shinard. And I think it's cool that his nickname is Showtime Shinard Bunch, and he's fighting on Showtime. I think that's
right,
pretty good.
right. So he better show out. That's for
Better
sure. When you
show
got a
up,
name like
bro.
that.
There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah. This is again, guys. These are big, big fights for these guys. They're trying to, like we mentioned already a few times. They're trying to get that major that signing to a major promotional company that's gonna change their life, and that's what makes these fights really, really good, and that's why I'm just super excited to be there. But we got some other stuff going on here, Luke, that I want to ask you about before we wrap this one up, guys. Um, but in my area, my neck of the woods, okay, two local fighters they got some good things going on, man. They got some good things going on, and I'm proud uh to mention this on the show here. But first things first, I'm gonna show this picture here. This is a young Kane Sandoval who just recently signed with Tom Loeffler 360 Promotions. I believe it's a multi-fight deal, and he is going to be fighting next Friday, April 14th, down in Los Angeles against Jose. Is it Angulo? Jose Angulo, I believe his opponent's name is. Um, so yeah, very proud of this young kid here, man. You guys know I've interviewed him a couple times in person at the Thompson card that I was at in November. I had him on the channel a few months after that. He just recently fought on a card at the Cow Palace where Andy Vences was a part of that card as well. But I just want to say, give this young man some congratulations. And again, a local fighter being signed to a promoter like Tom Loeffler. And Kane is a really good kid, man. And Luke knows him a lot better than I do. But he's a really good kid, trains hard. He's constantly in the gym. And again, that's why I like to follow these guys on the Instagram and stuff, because they do a really good job of connecting people with things that they're doing. And I constantly see him working in the gym. And another fighter from the area right here, Joe Sean James, Showtime James, he goes by. He is going to be fighting on that same card that we talked about a few minutes ago, Top Rank, May 13th in Stockton. He's going to be taking on Javier Martinez, who is a Robert Garcia fighter. And it's a middleweight fight. And I'm excited for this kid. Last time he fought was it Richard Brewer, I believe, on a Thompson card, and he goes down into enemy territory and gets the win. Actually stops him in 7 rounds. And from there, he was supposed to fight in January, but that fight got canceled due to his opponent being injured. But now he is getting a tremendous opportunity to fight on the undercard of the Johnny Beck top rank card that's going to be here in Stockton, California. And I want to say again, congratulations, another young local fighter from my city of Sacramento getting a major opportunity on a major network. So anything you want to add to that stuff, Luke?
I mean, congrats to my guy Kane, and Sean Time is going to be giving his all, and it's great to see young fighters putting it all on the line. I see Shoe Shine, my good friend. Dang, he got on the Gabe and Ruben card. That's going to be a lot of eyes on him. I mean, that's a fantastic night of fights. You got 2 world title fights at the top of card. Return of Gabe Flores, a great fighter, and a lot of people feel a lot of different ways. So if you think he's going to lose, show up and think he's going to lose. If you like him, show up and cheer for him. Got a lot of different things. I'm sure he'll appreciate both. You got Joe Sean on the card. You got Ruben Villa on the card. And who's the other one on the card? I forget. I'm blanking
Maloney
on
from Australia is going to be
well,
fighting
that's one
too.
of the world title fights, but there's someone else that I'm forgetting on the undercard. But I think it's just a great time because we've had so many different eras in Northern California where there aren't big fights that matter. And when you have television fights, this is how kids can believe a dream is possible. When we talk about Albert Torres, when he was in his mid-20s, he was fighting in Rancho Cordova, and his coach was having to promote the own show because they couldn't really get on cards. The only cards he could get on would be big B-side fights. There weren't local opportunities to build a fighter and then get them to a good money fight. So it's awesome to see this,
Absolutely, man. And Shoe Shine, man, I know you can't make it to the card Friday at Cache Creek, but I don't know if you can. If something changed and you can, come on out, man. I'd love to see you there and watch the fights. And also come on out to the arena in Stockton, May 13th, because again, a lot of local regional fighters are going to be on that card. And like you said, the return of Gabe Flores. I interviewed Gabe Flores a couple years back. Really good kid, and now he's training with Fernando Vargas. So we'll see how that has an impact on him coming back. Had a couple of tough fights, couple of tough losses. Took some time off, but now he's back, and again, he's got a new trainer in his corner. I believe his dad is still with him too, though, right? But just they just added the Fernando Vargas to the corner. So yeah, very interested to see how Gabe looks on his way back. And of course, Ruben Villa, a really good boxer. We know he's got that deep amateur pedigree. He's actually got a couple of wins against the Shakur Stevenson, who's going to be fighting this Saturday on Top Rank. I believe that they're 2-2 in the amateurs. So the kid's got some real boxing skills, man. And we also seen him in against El Vaquero Navarrete.
Let me add to that about Ruben. Ruben was 2-0 versus Shakur, and at the Olympic trials, Shakur won the 2 fights against Ruben. So for most of the amateurs, Ruben was the Shakur kryptonite. And I think that when people hear the 2-2, they go, "Oh, they split it," but it was really the last tournament that Ruben lost to him. So he's a formidable force, and working with a promoter like Top Rank, they're going to do a very good job with him. Let's see. Shoe Sign said, what did he say? The Stockton fight, Fernando's son, Gabe seemed to be meshing well in the gym. I mean, look, Gabe and the Vargas family, from what I've seen, and keep in mind, I'm an outsider, I don't know anything. They're family-oriented people, like-minded individuals, and I think for Gabriel, when he had a lot of his success, you had guys like Harley Medeiros around him. You had other young fighters from across the country were coming out to Stockton to train with him, to motivate him. And I think now he's getting kind of a team aspect. Like, you got someone like Fernando Vargas Jr., he'll go down to the living room of their house at 10:30 and go, "I want to do film study." He watches fights. He's studying moves. I've never heard a fighter literally say, "I want to do film study." They might be watching fights. Fernando Vargas Jr. is so mature. He'll say, "I want to do film study." And that rubs off on Gabriel. That infectious love of this sport. Gabe will tell you this is all he does. This is his whole life. But now being a part of a community of people where it's Emmy Vargas, you got Amato. Amato's one of my favorites. People are sleeping on Amato. Amato's very, very good. And then you got obviously Fernando Vargas Jr., hard hitter, real smart fighter. All of the Vargases are slept on. People don't give them the respect they should. And I think because they're so slept on, Gabe identifies with them because people are doubting him, So I think that really working with them, it's kind of how, like, if you're coming off 2 losses, your spirit might be down. I think that the Vargases have, like, brought Gabe back, and now he's coming back to Stockton, and his people, the Stockton people, are gonna lift him up again. They're gonna raise him back to the roof, to the ceiling, and bring him back to what he feels will be superstardom.
Yeah, I agree, man. And yeah, there's a lot of people are excited about Emiliano Vargas. He's been fighting on the Top Rank cards in his last couple fights. And yeah, a lot of people are very interested in him. And he had a spectacular knockout last year. So a lot of people are real excited about him. And the other two kids, I believe the last time they both fought was on the Marv Nation card with Regis Prograis and Jose Cepeda were the main event. And that was a pay-per-view. Both the other two Vargas sons fought on that night as well. And yeah, man, they're all really solid. All really solid young fighters. And of course they have the legacy, they got the name, so that's already built in for them. It's just can they live up to that is the only thing, and only
Well, the
the
hard
future
part
will
is
tell.
probably not, right? If we're real, because their father was a legend.
Hmm.
But don't you respect the hell that they're trying?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
difficult.
the other
Yeah.
side is, like, more than likely, they're gonna have to forge their own path and not their father's path, and it's gonna be hard to meet them. But how many kids wouldn't even wanna box because of their dad? How many
Yeah.
people would not? And I feel like the story we always hear with Campbell Hatton, with Nico Ollie Walsh is, "Oh, man, they're riding off the coattails." How many people wanna have that relationship with a family member and never do it because they know they're gonna get criticized more? To me, it speaks to the character. I'm impressed with the character of the Vargas brothers, because they're willing to do that. They're willing to do this. They're willing to glove up. They're willing to be put on Front Street and judged. And to me, that's impressive.
Yeah, and I like the fact that at least from looking at their short careers so far, um, they all really want to fight in their own style. They're not really trying to pattern their style specifically after their father. You know, of course, we see some things that resemble Vargas Senior, that is. But when I watch like especially Emiliano, like he likes to switch from orthodox to southpaw. Like that's something that his dad never did. Um, and you know, again, I think that's the best way to go, because when you try to walk exactly in your father's footsteps like that, who has done a lot of big things in the sport of boxing, you know, it could add a little extra pressure. Just be yourself, you know, do your own thing. Of course, you know, your father's name is with you no matter what. But I like that. I like that about them, you know. So that's it. That's it for this one, guys. This has been a great show, and again, I'm
I
excited to
also
be
want to say
covering this
one
card.
thing.
Yeah, go
Brian
ahead.
Mendoza, real good underdog this weekend.
Against the Towering Inferno on Showtime. Man, there's a lot of fights. We got Bam Rodriguez as well. Um, guys, I just haven't had time to. You guys know I like to do prediction shows for all the fights. I have not had time to prepare any kind of predictions for the Shakur card, the Fundora Mendoza card, or the Bam Rodriguez card, because I will be at this event with my man Luke, and the weigh-ins are tomorrow. You going to be there for the weigh-ins, Luke?
Yeah, I'm gonna be down there. I'm gonna be down there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it, man. The time is a little bit too early though, but I'll definitely try to make it. But I will be there Friday to cover the fights. But Luke, I want to thank you for coming on, man. Always good talking with you, man. And I'll see you there on Friday night. And again, guys, subscribe to uh, ITR Boxing here. That's Lukey's channel, and a lot of other guys do work with him on that channel as well. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe, hit the like with the notification bell. And I thank all you guys who came here to watch live in the chat. Appreciate it. And I will see you guys at the fights Friday night. Again, make sure that your bell notification is on, because I will be dropping some content from the fights that night. So take care, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out.